coins in the world at an auction in...
It was broad daylight. You had to see something.
I am not giving him the pictures.
I hope the prison newspaper can use a good photographer.
How could he escape?
Why would anybody want to read about these things in a newspaper? What's so fascinating about old coins anyway?
Well, not much to me, but maybe to a collector.
Yeah. This was given to me by an old acquaintance of mine, Weldon Gray. Have you ever heard of him?
He's a rare coin dealer, right?
He just bought 5 of the rarest coins in the world at an auction in London for $800,000.
Well, that's a little out of my price range.
He's given me an exclusive to come over and photograph the coins. I thought we might make a feature story of it.
And you want me to cover it?
That's the general idea. Get over there.
One way or another, I've been fascinated with coins since I was a small boy. These don't mean much to you, do they, Mr. Parker?
Anytime somebody spends close to $1 million for a handful of change, I'm impressed.
Well, it's not just the dollar value here. There's excitement, mystery, romance. If I was wealthy enough, I would never sell any of these coins. I'd keep them all for myself.
Most collectors get caught up like that, I guess.
Well, it's not just the collecting. I fall in love with each coin. With some men, it's painting. With other men, it's money. Of course, with others, it's beautiful women. I certainly don't discount beautiful women. That's my wife. My ex-wife, unfortunately.
Yes, well, maybe you could give me a little of the history of these coins.
Of course. This one here was minted in 1913. It's one of only 4 that were produced in error by the U.S. Mint. The other 3 were just... What's the matter?
Nothing. I thought I heard it.
Locked that door myself, and I'm the only one who has a key.
Don't move. Now turn your backs. Don't look around if you want to stay alive.
All right, get the safe. It was broad daylight. You had to see something.
Just before I was hit, I saw that wall over there. You can check that out.
Peter, how about you?
I saw the same wall and then a terrific view of the floor.
Look, if I had any information about the theft of $800,000 worth of coins, don't you think I'd tell you?
Are you insured?
What's that got to do with anything?
Probably nothing. You saw a hand and a gun. You heard a voice.
And then the voice was muffled.
This is supposed to be an ordinary rob. Why would an ordinary thief disguise his voice?
Or hers. Afraid, maybe, that they might be recognized.
Lieutenant, room for one more in here?
Yeah, let her in.
How did you beat me here? News of the robbery just came over the ticker.
Yeah.
You're Julie Masters. I remember you. You covered a coin show that I lectured at once. Mr. Parker was here when the robbery occurred. They knocked him out.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I am. I just shouldn't nod my head. It might fall off.
Oh, well, don't let that happen. You may need it again.
Okay, Julie, go ahead and take your pictures. I have an investigation to conduct.
Right.
Did you get anything with your camera?
Nothing that I think you can use. I may have gotten one picture of the gun in the hand.
I want it. I want all the pictures you took. Something might show up.
All right, I'll process the film and get you some prints.
I'll be at the paper to pick them up. 5 rare coins were stolen. How would a thief dispose of the coins?
Any collector would buy them.
That's a big help. Okay, Pete, get on those prints. I haven't got my sales to go with. Come here.
I'll have them for you in 1 hour.
Everything on the desk.
How you doing?
Maybe too well.
Come again?
I won't be sure until I run off prints, but the negatives show I took a picture I never took.
You know you're not making much sense.
Yeah, well, neither does this extra frame of film. It appears to be a picture of a lady holding a gun.
Hey, maybe that door was open a little extra, and you got a picture of the lady who was about to belt you into dreamland.
No, I would have seen her.
Well, and I don't get it. What does she look like?
I won't know that until I have a print of the picture.
Well, it'll be good news for the gendarmes. The lieutenant is in with Jameson, and one of his troops is waiting outside the door here to pick up your evidence.
Don't tell them about the extra frame of film.
Peter, you're gonna hold out on the cops and not tell them about it?
I am not satisfied with how this picture got on my roll of film.
Yeah, but you're sticking your neck out for a lady you don't know. You don't even know what she looks like.
It's not the lady, and it's not me personally. Somebody is trying to use my job as a newsman to pull a fast one.
How?
I don't know. And I don't want you to know what I'm going to do. I just don't want you involved in this.
Okay. But you're asking for trouble, Peter. And being in trouble all by yourself is a lonely place to be.
How's Flash doing?
Coming along. Coming along.
What gives?
He's still in there. I guess it's taking him longer than he figured.
Parker! What's taking you so long?
He's in there. He couldn't get out without me seeing him.
Okay, Peter, you better get your act together. We're coming in.
He couldn't get out.
While you were awake.
I went to the water cooler, but I kept my eye on the door.
Sure. Whatever game Pete's playing, I set the rules and he's broken them. He cut out of here, taking his film with him. That film is evidence in a felony. I hope the prison newspaper can use a good photographer.
Not exactly flattering. As it happens, it is not me. So I guess I shouldn't complain.
Are you sure?
Would you know the difference if somebody faked a picture of you?
Yes, I suppose I would, but that is a very, very good likeness.
It looks as though someone tried very hard to make it a good likeness for whatever reason. I was about to have coffee. Would you join me?
Where were you at 10:30 this morning?
I was here.
Can you prove that?
I was alone.
The reason I ask is because it was exactly at that time that your husband was robbed of some coins worth $800,000.
Losing coins would hurt him terribly. Coins to me were simple things that nice people left me for my smiling when I served them coffee and wished them a nice day. Please, sit down. Coins were kind of happy thank yous. He treated them as though they meant more than people.
I was taking pictures just before the robbery. When I developed my film, that one was the last one on the roll. I didn't take it.
I don't understand. Is somebody trying to frame me?
Well, now, it certainly looks like that, doesn't it?
Yes, I guess so, but who? Why? Are you sure this is for real? Then why aren't the cops breathing down my neck?
Because I didn't give them that picture.
Thanks. But you have to, don't you?
Well, just let me handle that. Now, Mrs. Gray, how do you get along with your ex-husband?
I still like him, but not as a husband.
Does he like you? I'm just asking because I want to find out who would try to frame you.
Well, we had problems in our marriage. He didn't want the divorce. We had a couple of large fights, but they blew over when he realized I wasn't going to stay on display like one of his rare coins.
Okay, well, do you know anybody at all who is about your size and knows you well enough to be able to duplicate your hair and your clothes and who hates you?
I never thought I did anything to make anybody hate me. But I guess I'm wrong.
I don't have any answers. I'm sorry.
Don't try to throw your weight around with me, Lieutenant. I could only assume that Peter Parker had some very good reason for leaving when he did. All right. I'll keep you advised of any further developments. Well, that covered for you.
I am not giving him the pictures. Turning over those prints could do somebody a lot of damage.
Not turning them over can definitely do you a lot of damage. The police will have you in front of a judge in no time. And you know what'll happen?
When I refuse to hand them over, I'll be held in contempt of court.
That's right. And slammed in the slammer.
Look, someone is trying to use me to frame another person in this coin robbery.
Who?
I can't tell you that. I mean, right now, you could honestly tell a judge that you have no information about this. But if I tell you, you'll either have to reveal what I say, or you could face contempt charges, too.
Well, you're willing to risk a jail sentence.
Well, your joining me in jail isn't going to help. I don't have any choice. Not if I intend to back up something I believe very strongly in. That a newsman should be protected by the First Amendment.
I stick to the old-fashioned idea that newspaper people are honor-bound to protect their sources and to use their judgment in releasing any information they've gathered. I'll back you all the way.
I don't appreciate being called out of my court with a trial in session. Even without this interruption, my calendar is very tight. Now, please keep in mind I can give you 5 minutes at the most.
Your Honor, Peter Parker is an honorable and honest man. Forcing him to go to jail is a mockery of justice and an attack upon the freedom of the press. It's ridiculous to treat a man as a criminal for doing a job that's vital to society.
Your attorneys have already made those points, Mr. Jameson.
I'm making them again, Your Honor, because I feel very strongly about them.
You're wasting my time.
Well, at least grant us a stay so that we can pursue other legal remedies.
Mr. Parker is in contempt of court. He can remain free if he provides the material which has been subpoenaed. Failing that, he will accompany the bailiff for immediate processing and incarceration. This hearing is at an end.
All right, let's get the ground rules set. Now, you're a newspaper man, so you really think that makes you important.
It's never made me important before. I don't know why I wouldn't jail.
Well, then here you're just the same as everybody else. You get out of line, you get the book thrown at you.
Somehow I get the feeling that newsmen are not your favorite people in the world.
Did you ever read a story about a nice prison guard?
I don't remember. Maybe we could start a new trend.
Guys, you use your muscles where you should use brains. I don't see you using your brains to bend this thing. Yes, I did. I used my brains to get you to use your muscles. You know, one of these days I'm gonna bat your brains down into your belly. Oh, no threats, lad. We're sort of a team. We're on a winning run. You wouldn't want to spoil it. Right on time. Watch me handle him.
Did an excellent job.
Don't seem like you did. Seen nothing in the newspapers about your ex-missus being clapped in the dungeon for stealing them coins.
That was the fault of that newspaper photographer. I'll handle that another way.
Good. I'd hate to waste my starring performance.
I'd like to talk about me alimony.
Take that thing off, you fool. Somebody will see you.
Keep your hair on, Dolly boy. There's no one around here.
I told you to get rid of that and the clothes.
Did you now? Must have slipped me mind. Remember anything about that, Wiley?
Nothing. And I never just remember nothing when money's involved.
Blackmail. Well, it won't work. You guys will get nailed, too.
Call it insurance. Anything went wrong, the coppers might get a package with clothes and hair. Now, me and Wiley, we'd be long gone. But you got roots. You stay in one place, and you'd be right here to answer them penetrating questions the coppers love to ask.
We had a deal. You welshing on it?
Would I do that? I'm just waiting here quiet and peaceful till Wiley and me get our money.
When I get it, you'll get it.
Oh, that's nice.
In the meantime, let me have the coins.
Coins?
They're mine. I want them.
Oh, yeah, them, sure. You'll get them, absolutely. Right, Wiley?
Berkey says something, I always believe him. You better, too.
Soon as that money is in my hand, this hand, right here where I can look at it, count it and enjoy it.
The deal was, you give me the coins when the robbery's completed.
You decided to hold on to them.
I need one coin to do the job that the photographer didn't do. You can keep the other 4.
Out of the goodness of me heart and because I'm a trusting man.
Should I go get one?
Not that trusting. Don't go near that stash while he's here to have a look-see. But we'll get him in your hot little hands quick like. Good.
It's not visiting hours, but the press interviewing prisoners manages to get special privileges.
Nice of you to visit.
Peter, it's awful.
Well, like the guard told me, have you ever seen a nice jail?
No. It just seems a lot different when you're not involved. It's not the jail. It's seeing you in it.
Okay, so it's not the Waldorf.
Well, I wouldn't visit you if this was the Waldorf. After all, I only came here to research the psychology of hardened criminals like you.
Well, actually, I'm still just kind of an apprentice criminal. I'm just learning the trade.
Study and work hard. That's the way to success.
So, did you just come here to encourage me in my life of crime?
No. I came here to tell you that the coin robbery that got you in here may be close to solution, so you might get out fairly soon. Okay. The lieutenant managed to squeeze some information out of Mr. Gray. Now there's a prime suspect, Bonita Gray.
No, I know she didn't do it, but I do have to talk to her.
Well, wouldn't that bring more suspicion on her? You're in here for not producing evidence. I mean, the police would think the evidence related to her. Did it?
Never mind. But you've got a point about the police. I've got to find out
What?
the angle at which a photograph was taken.
Well, I can ask your boss to get the lawyers to make another attempt to get you out of here for long enough to see her. It's a slim chance.
Try it, would you? Right now?
Peter, really, are you okay? I hate to see you in here.
Yeah, well, I'm not too crazy about it myself.
Guard! I think you're a terrific guy. Don't put him on bread and water.
We treat everybody the same.
He's kind of a nice guy.
In here, he's not a guy. He's a number. Show the lady out.
Out of your mind. You shouldn't be seen in my office.
Me mom lets me come and go in the big city all by myself. Simmer down. Nobody knows me.
Don't go out of your way to irritate me. You don't have that gorilla friend with you now, and I might just decide to take you apart in order to get those other coins.
You wouldn't want to do that, would you? Seeing as we got such a gentleman's agreement. Who'd think it? Worth so few pennies when new and so many dollars now. Did you know I've got gypsy blood in me veins? I'll read you a piece of the future. This little beauty will be found in the possession of Mrs. Gray, what was.
As if it was any of your business.
Why are you so anxious to pin it on her?
She's nothing. She was in a sleazy cafe serving over a filthy counter when I first met her. I made her Mrs. Weldon Gray. Then she left. She walked out on me.
Shocking. Imagine somebody not wanting to stay with a lovable gentleman like you.
Get out. I'll meet you next when I deliver the insurance.
Spiderman, and I didn't believe it. Now I've seen him, and I still don't believe it.
Well, I gotta look at his face.
Well, better you than me. It was probably furry with 6 eyes.
Don't be a fool. I would swear that was Peter Parker.
Now, would you say that's good or bad?
Gives me a chance to get rid of Spider-Man before he interferes further.
Now, that ain't all bad.
Once I've taken care of my ex-wife.
Lieutenant, if I had anything hidden, I know that your men would find it. I would give it to you before you tore my place apart.
Sure. And Christmas comes on the first and third Sundays of every month.
I read the search warrant. I guess I can thank my ex-husband. I never would have figured he'd go this route.
Just for the record, Mrs. Gray, he's busting his butt to protect you. He didn't volunteer the information that you have the keys to his office.
Okay, he's a nice guy. I don't even know where the keys are. Anyway, you are not looking for keys.
That's right. We have certain information, maybe wrong information, that makes a search seem like a good idea. Of course, you're sure we won't find anything.
Lieutenant, I have not been sure of anything since I was 15 years old, and I'm not about to tell you how long ago that was.
Lieutenant. Taped to the bottom of a drawer.
Recognize this, Mrs. Gray?
Would you believe me if I said I have never seen it before?
No. Look around. There's 4 more of these somewhere. I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to come downtown. Anything you say may be used as evidence against you. You're not required to answer any questions or make any comments. You're entitled to the services of an attorney.
The way I'm being set up, I don't think an attorney will do me any good.
Let's go.
I'd like to say I admire your photographer. What's his name?
Peter Parker.
Parker's ethical stand on not revealing information, although it probably worked to my disadvantage.
Well, if he'd known who committed the robbery, he certainly would have... He'd have passed on the information.
Well, as a matter of fact, the robbery's been solved. I couldn't believe it, but the police have an airtight case against my former wife. They found a coin in her apartment.
Only one?
She had hers. They have the other.
How do you know?
Well, let's say I have reason to believe it.
Come on. You can do better than that.
Off the record?
Of course. I won't print a word without your permission.
Well, I've been contacted to buy back the other 4 coins.
Have you told the police?
Yeah, of course not. The important thing now is to get the coins back. I'm going to deliver $100,000 to the old Stimson warehouse in the Queens tomorrow morning by 7 o'clock. I consider that a bargain.
Can I use the story in tomorrow's late edition?
Not unless the police crack the case first. There's always the possibility that my wife will identify her partners. I hope she does. That way I'll get my $100,000 back.
Why are you telling me all this?
Once the case is solved, Parker will be let out of jail. I told you I admire him. I'd like him to have the story, if that's possible.
Gray's ex-wife has been arrested. The police found one of the coins in her possession.
What happened to the other 4?
Gray's buying them back tomorrow morning at 7 at Stimson's warehouse.
A police trap?
Oh, this is off-the-record information. Gray doesn't want the police to know for fear he might not get his coins back.
He shouldn't have told you that. That puts you in the same spot I'm in.
That's a risk I'm prepared to take. In fact, I don't know any way of running a newspaper without taking that risk.
Look, do you think there's any chance you might be able to get me out of here before any more legal appeals?
We're working on it. With any luck, we should have some news tomorrow.
Yeah, by that time, Gray will have his 4 coins, and Mrs. Gray will have a conviction for armed robbery.
You sound as if you don't believe she did it.
I don't.
Well, I'll keep pressuring the Bugle's lawyers to get you out of her as quickly as they can. You'll hear from me tomorrow.
Okay, 6 o'clock, eating time.
Oh, looks delicious.
Why not running a gourmet restaurant? Listen, it's not bad once you get used to it. When you finish up, slide your tray under the door and I'll come back later and pick it up. All right?
Thanks.
still think that Peter Parker is Spider-Man.
How does that help us?
Somehow he escaped from jail without the police knowing. Get to a phone. Make an anonymous call that Parker's escaped.
There's no phone here.
I don't need you to tell me that. Haven't you ever heard of a public phone? Go to a supermarket or a gas station. Now, move!
Go on.
Yeah? What? How could he escape? I've been here right along. I tell you, he's locked in his cell. Sure, I can check, but it's stupid.
Breakfast was lousy.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, I'll file a complaint with the chef. Yeah? Of course he hasn't escaped. What? Now, wait a minute. First you tell me that he got out of his cell, now you tell me you want me to let him out? Oh, he's being released for 24 hours. Okay. His cell will be waiting for him when he gets back tomorrow.
What's the matter with your leg?
Oh, I just twisted my ankle. It's no big deal.
I had to pull every string to get you even 24 hours. I'm not sure that they get the course to avoid that contempt citation.
Well, if I can't get this whole thing cleared up in 24 hours, Benita Gray is going to be in a lot of trouble.
What are you going to do?
I want the Bugle to print a special edition.
Do you realize what that would cost?
I just need one copy of one paper, dated tomorrow.
What do you want me to do?
You know Mr. Gray's coins that were supposedly stolen?
Mm-hmm.
Find out who insured them.
That's easy.
Then I want you to do an impersonation.
That sounds like fun.
Wait a minute. What are you doing with my phone?
Using it. Hi, Julie. This is Peter.
Hi.
Look, I need your help.
Say what?
I want somebody to think that the press is working on a story, and I don't want it to look like it's just coming from the Bugle.
Is it a legit story?
I'll tell you all about it tomorrow morning. Now, you just act like a nosy reporter from the Register. I think you know how to do that. It'll give it much more authenticity if the story's being investigated by more than one newspaper.
Okay. I'll hang in tomorrow until you call.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Weldon Gray here.
Mr. Gray, this is Miss Conrad, Adjustment Department, Armbruster Insurance Company. There seems to be some question as to the authenticity of the coins for which you filed a claim.
No, there is no question. I bought the coins myself. They were examined thoroughly before they were stolen. They're absolutely authentic.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gray, but the story is all over the newspapers, and it'll probably be on the TV news. We'll be forced to hold up payment on your claim until we get conclusive evidence that we are not being penalized financially for the theft of worthless coins.
The failure of Congress to approve the income tax cut must be considered the top story of this morning. In other news, the police announced that they have released Bonita Gray, former wife of coin dealer Weldon Gray. The coin, which was thought to be evidence in the robbery of her former husband, has proved to be a counterfeit, and the case against Mrs. Gray has been dropped. In other news, the Child Abuse Prevention Center.
You remember me, Mr. Gray. I'm Julie Masters with the Register. Do you have any comment on the police report that the coins stolen from you were counterfeit?
They weren't. And I have no further comment.
How do you explain the fact that the only one found by police was definitely counterfeit?
No comment.
Hey, Cork.
Let me see the other coins.
Oh, it'd be me pleasure if you have the money.
Take a look at that.
Oh, ain't that the strangest thing ever I seen?
Get me the other coin.
Like I said, I'm a trusting man, but it looks to me like you switched the coin I gave you and planted a counterfeit.
Oh, come on. Don't you think the cops know the difference between a counterfeit coin and a real one?
He's got no reason to plan a counterfeit. His wife's off the hook.
Then what do you suppose happened?
I don't know, but I want to make sure the other 4 coins are real.
Shall I get him?
As soon as we arrange, Mr. Gray doesn't see where the stash is.
Oh, come on. I don't have time to waste.
Oh, really? Well, maybe you can find time if you have no choice. You get off the ship and you wait in the dock.
Why?
Because I don't want you looking and snooping. All right, buddy boy, I'll get the pretties now.
Yes, Lieutenant. Just as Peter Parker said it
All
would
right,
be.
fish that man out of the water and get that guy out of the boat. Looks like your man called it this time.
Yes, it looks as though he did.
Boy, am I glad to see you, Lieutenant. Some lunatic threw me in the boat.
Lieutenant?
Book him.
Where's Peter Parker? If those men did anything to him...
Did you get the evidence?
Yes, we got the evidence, all right. And those men are getting prison sentences. And I see the registers getting pictures of all this. What's the Bugle getting?
I guess I got here a little too late to take it.
No, Peter, you have half the pictures I have. I wouldn't have any if it weren't for you.
Well, that leaves me with nothing to complain about. Come on, I'll drive you back to town.
No, I've got my car. I'll take Julie.